Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. So, I just wanted to read a little bit from Pam Lorricia's book, Life Through the Lens of Unschooling, and talk about the topic of can unschooling or how can unschooling kids or kids who unschool, whatever, develop self discipline, right? Like, how can kids develop self discipline if they're not being externally forced to do things in order to like gain that character and discipline, right? So basically, a lot of the ways that our world system and the conventional ways of doing things does this is by doing it externally. So trying to build character through forceful external measures by forcing kids to do things, thinking that when we force them to do things on the outside, that's going to develop something on the inside. Um, you know, forcing them to do something they have no interest in. Um, but I think that the philosophy and like the unschooling paradigm focuses on the fact that when children, with the support of their parent, with the supporting adult around them, when they explore their own interests, they, within those interests and developing those interests, are going to naturally come upon challenges. Like, you know, if your child is learning a skill that they really want to do, like skateboarding or whatever it is, anything, or they're focused on a game, a video game, and they're trying to beat it, or it's a survival video game and they have to really critically think and solve problems, um, they're going to come across challenges, but they're going to have the discipline to get through it based upon the fact that they love what they're doing. You know, they are interested in what they're doing, so that self-discipline will be developed. You know, when your kid is learning skateboarding and they're doing 50 million ollies to try to get it right, and like ollieing they say is like the hardest thing to learn when you first start skateboarding. Like you have to try over and over and over and over and over and like 10,000 times, to get it until your nervous system picks it up, boom. And that, can be so frustrating. But that is character being developed. Your kids will go through frustration and things like that. Um, but it will come through something they are passionate about. You know what I'm saying? Not something that's forced upon them, saying, here, do this. No, you got to stick to it. So she says, I'm going to read here. She says, the idea of teaching self-discipline is an oxymoron. Self-discipline cannot be imposed from the outside because it's all about internal motivation. But leaving that aside, if as a parent you force your child to finish out whatever activity you feel they've committed to, for example, a series of lessons that you've signed them up for, are they really learning self-discipline? I feel like I grew up like that. The thing when you start something, you got to finish it. I was told that a lot. It's kind of like, oh, you can't give up. If you give up, then that's failure, and you can't fail, you can't give up. Anyways, so she says, but if you force your kid to finish something out, did they learn self-discipline? Is that what they really learned? She says, put yourself in the child's place. What might you be thinking about and hence learning if you were told that you have to finish a series of lessons that you signed up for? The next few times you go, you are probably thinking this is a waste of time, that you could be doing X, Y, or Z instead. Or maybe your distaste for the subject begins to grow to colossal proportions, and you swear that you will never pick up a paintbrush again, or a baseball bat, or swimsuit, etc. Or maybe you vow to never sign up for anything else again. Maybe eventually all three. I imagine that self-discipline wouldn't really be on your radar at all. But you may be soured on that activity and on exploring any activity in this fashion. Instead of trying to teach them self-discipline, help your children find ways to develop it. At one point, they had the motivation to keep pulling themselves up and trying to walk again and again, for example. When we have a personal goal, we'll discover how much of our time and effort we are willing to invest in it and achieve. That's one of the wonderful things about unschooling. Our children are encouraged to find those things that they are truly interested in and to pursue those audacious goals. And furthermore, they have the time to, which is really cool. That more than anything else helps them develop self-discipline. Has your child ever gotten frustrated trying to do something yet still continue to attempt it? A cartwheel, drawing, a video game level, they are developing the ability to motivate themselves right there. They are continuing to pursue something despite the challenges that they are facing. Those experiences show them the connection between effort and reward, and their self-discipline grows as their interests expand and the distance between effort and reward gradually gets larger. You don't have to teach this stuff. Life is full of it. Instead, do your best not to short circuit it. I still remember the late afternoon that stretched into dinner time as I chose to forego dinner prep and stay at the pool watching my determined daughter practice diving over and over again until she was comfortable that she had it. Celebrate times when their determination is just a joy to watch in action. See those moments, not a late dinner. Remember them. Same goes for the other traits that make up an individual's unique galaxy of character. By experiencing real reasons in their real life, not the simulated one like at school or forced things, to explore and develop these traits, children understand them better than through any character lessons that others might try to teach them. And as a result of this exploration and the support of their parents during it, unschooling children are often quite knowledgeable about themselves, their strengths, and their weaknesses. Watch your children in action. They are pretty incredible, aren't they? Continue to figure out ways you can support and help them as they explore themselves and the world around them. So I like the part where she says, unschooling children are often quite knowledgeable about themselves, their strengths, and their weaknesses. And that's not to say that children who attend public school do not know themselves either. I don't think it's like necessarily a comparison, but yeah, unschooling children knowing themselves, and like that's one of the most important things that we need to know as we're growing up. We need to know ourselves. We need to know who we are, what we like, what makes us tick, as she says, what are our interests, what are our passions. And I feel like a good way to find those things out is to have time to explore those things. And as a child is the perfect time to learn that, not when, well, I'm not going to say not, because life is learning and learning is life, and so it's never too late to learn about yourself. But it can be more ideal to learn about who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you love, what you don't love as you're growing up, and to be strong in that. And again, I'm not saying kids who attend public school cannot learn that. They can, but they may not have as much time to explore the things that they're specifically interested. Their time may be limited in that respect. So, because that sentence made me think about what's the first thing that they ask you on job interviews. I don't know about you, but I think that those are the most annoying questions. Questions is, I was going to say, what is questions is? Those are the most annoying questions when they say, so tell me about yourself. So tell me, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And it's just like, well, I know you're supposed to practice for interviews, but to me, it's always annoying. Well, why is that? Why don't I know myself? What, you know what I mean? We need to know ourselves. Like it's the first thing they ask you on job interviews. So if your child can know themselves and be strong in themselves, I think that that is very, very good. All right, everyone, that's all I wanted to share for this morning. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Monday.